Okay, something just real quick. This is, I guess, would be inventory part 11. Older inventory, I would actually recommend using one of the newer inventories that I've made. But with that said, I'm going to show you how you add items to an inventory. Process would be pretty much the same for removing items too, but on the player itself, I should probably mark that as a player tag. I'm going to make a FSM, and we're going to add, and we need to get event info, because we need is that the right one? Yes, that is the right one. All right. So let's go. Incoming item for a variable, and of course we need an integer for incoming quantity. So we would need an incoming item, incoming quantity. So what now, just to show you this little part. So if I have a cube here and he is got a trigger, and you can do this just about any kind of way. He needs an item, and he needs a quantity. Put that there, and you'll see those here. So all we want to do is set event data, and we want to set the item and the quantity, send event, to whatever triggered this, which will be the player, and the player has a FSM called add item, add. There we go. And then we can destroy self after that. Right, and now if I go to this cube, I can choose an item, right? Like I'm going to add apples. You know, we're going to add 21 apples. Now it's not actually going to add yet, but we'll see part of it happen. So I take him, and of course our player also needs a rigid body or a character controller. But I'll use a rigid body for this. But I mean, you could do click on style or whatever. It really doesn't matter, right? So we've clicked on it. We've technically added the item. It's gone. It fired off an event. We see 21, and we see the apple, right? So we know the information goes from whatever we've hit to the player, right? Now we're only just dealing with list here. So all we need to do, and you're almost better off if this was like an array list, but let's just come out of here, go with the clean FSM array. I'm just going to copy the array, I think, from inventory, items. We need our own array here. Which is object type of demo item thing. There we go. So we're going to just copy that array. We're copying this array down here. And then all we want to do is array get next. Loop. And a done. And we want the index. But we also want the result. So on the loop, all we want to do is get property. Custom actions would be better for this. On the current item, we're going to get the property of what do they have? The IDs. I forget what we were using the IDs for. I'm just going to use the name. So that's the name. And we also want to get property. So we can probably do that up here. Of the incoming item. The same thing as the name and incoming name. So we're copying the array and we're getting the name of this item. You can also use an ID. You can use a lot of different things for this. And then we just want to string compare. And if the incoming name and name are equal, I'm trying to think, would that work? Because these won't be clones. Yeah, well, I mean, you could always trim, I suppose. All right, you could take this name, string split, the incoming name, separators, we'll use that one. And then array get. Move to the bottom. From the splitter, just get the index 0. We're going to store that as the name or incoming name. And that's just a way to hack off that clone portion. So if they're equal, add them. If they're not equal, find different. Right, now with that said, you would also need to know if, actually no, what we'll do that after. So we're going to find a different one. We're just going to loop through and we add, right? And if that's the case, I'm going to get another array. And it's going to be copy quantities. And it's an int array. Actually, we don't even need to do that because we're going to have we have the index. We don't need to copy that one. We can just do that here. Get FSM array item from the inventory, but this time we want quantities at the current index, and it's going to be a type integer inventory quantity, and now we want to int add inventory quantity with incoming quantity, and that's it. They would just end right there. So if you go through and it's all done, what we want to do is I'm actually going to loop through again. Right? Only this time is, what would that be considered? Because if we loop through the array, we get the current is null. It's not a game object though. And you know what we could do? Oh, current item, because this will be null. It won't have anything. String, store string as the name. And this time, if the name is we might be able to do that. We'll try. We'll see if that works. And if that's the case, then all we want to do is set FSM array item. We need 2 of those. The inventory items at index, current index, type object, type demo item thing, incoming item, and same thing but in the quantities at the same index, which is a type integer, and the incoming quantity, and call it good. So we should now see, if I slide him over, let's see what happened. So get FSM, oh, I forgot to set the FSMs in this one. Alright, fair enough. Easy fix. Right, because we're getting all that, we're adding it, and then after that, at the end, we got to set it. Make sure that's at the bottom. All right, so we get this one, and we're adding to it, and then we're going to reset this one. All right, so inventory, quantities, current index, integer, set, inventory quantity, because that's what we've added to. And now we should see we have a whole whack of apples. If I open up the inventory, oh, it didn't update. Oh, yes, it did. Just it's white and hard to see. Right now, if I move these out, say that's none. That, well, I guess the banana doesn't. Oh no, he's an apple. Let's change him to none. So we have nothing. take the cube, or well, I take the player, whatever. We should now get, and this is one I wasn't too sure, is this part here, if it would get compare. So there's none here, so the string is that. Incoming name, so it held on to that. Okay, so that's an easy fix. Set string value. We just need to reset that string before everything. So the name to nothing. That's because if there's nothing there, then it tried to store nothing, but it already had a name, so it just maintained that name. Oh, no, that didn't work for me. Oh, that's because I did the wrong frickin' variable. Oh no. Incoming name. Alright, well I gotta do name. That's where I messed that up. We're not trying to compare if the incoming item is empty. Of course the incoming item hasn't something. So now it added. Right, so now we can see we have apple. There's 21. Right, and if I duplicate this box, you'll see I pick them up. We now have 21. I pick them up, we have 42. Right, and if I take this box and duplicate him again and change him to a banana, you'll see I can pick them all up, and we have apple, banana, 42, 21. Perfect. And that's how you would add an item. Right, all we're doing is adjusting these lists. So there you go. Talk to you later.